Hello everyone, here is your video explanation of this week's classwork. The first activity we're going to work on is called Food for All. And let me go ahead and project it in a different way. Let's see. All right. Here is this week. Food for All. This is part 1, and then there's a follow-up activity called Food for All part 2. Between the mammals, primates, reptiles, and amphibians, a lot of food is purchased each year at the zoo. Take a look at the zoo's grocery list for the year and evaluate what the zoo has ordered. So here's the monthly produce consumption. So this is like fruits and vegetables. Okay, so the monthly total, 14,000 pounds, and then you see the breakdown here: carrots, bananas, apples, lettuce. Okay. Then here's the monthly fish and meat consumption. The total is 17,000 pounds, and you'll see the breakdown here, which is herring, squid, mackerel, and smelt. Okay. First, find the total amount of carrots, bananas, apples, and lettuce that the zoo animals eat each month. Using that number in the monthly produce total, build an equation to figure out how much other produce they eat each month. Write that in the other produce box. So what's going to happen is when you add up carrots, bananas, apples, and lettuce, it's not going to get you to 14,000 pounds yet. See this bar here? It says other produce. So this means that there are other fruits and vegetables that the zoo is ordering, but they're not listed here. So you have to add these up and then subtract 14,000 pounds minus whatever you get here, and that's going to go in the other produce box, which is going to be right here. Okay, and this one is the monthly fish. So herring, squid, mackerel, and smelt are all of the different types of fish that are needed to feed the zoo. So these are all the types of fish. Okay, what's left over, the part that you don't know, is the meat. Okay, so you have the monthly total, which is 17,000. You have the fish, and you're going to find out what part is left over, how many pounds are left over, and that's going to be representative of the meat that is ordered at the zoo each month. The zoo features a giraffe and elephant feeding experience where zoo patrons can feed the animals. The data below shows how much the zoo spends on the food to feed the animals and how much money they make off of zoo patrons buying food to feed the animals. Fill in the blanks to make the data charts complete. So they have to, let's say you're going to go to the zoo and you're going to feed the giraffe some carrots. Okay. The zoo has to purchase the carrots so that you can feed it to them, and then the zoo is going to sell those carrots to you so you can feed them. Okay, so the cost, so here's some of the food that they're going to order. So the food type is listed: lettuce, biscuits, and you see this is for the giraffe exhibit, and for the elephant exhibit, they eat bananas and carrots. Okay, so the giraffe exhibit, let's do this as an example. It costs to the zoo $550 to buy enough lettuce for the patrons or for the people who come into the zoo to feed the giraffes some lettuce. Okay? The money made is blank, and the difference is $685. Okay? So you have to figure out how much money that they actually made feeding the giraffe. Feeding the giraffe the lettuce. Okay? This one is biscuits. This is $325 is the cost to buy the biscuits. They made $345, so what is the difference? And you would subtract. Okay? But here you would have to add because this is the number that's missing. Okay? And then you're going to find the total, what it really cost them to buy. So you're going to add these two together. Okay? The total here is 1,580. So you can also use that in your problem solving. And the total here is 705. You can use that in your problem solving to check your work. Okay? And that is Food for All Part 1. Here's Food for All Part 2. Now that you've seen how much food can be eaten and how much money can be made off of the feeding animals, you have a bit more exploring to do when it comes to the zoo's food situation. Use the information to fill in the blanks. The zoo buys 31,834 fewer pounds of herbivore pellets than pounds of hay. The zoo buys 79,166 more mealworms than waxworms. And the zoo buys 98,167 more crickets than mice. And here's your monthly again: hay, biscuits, pellets, mice, and crickets. And the monthly worms is earthworms, mealworms, and waxworms. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and plug in use this information here to fill in the blanks. So you're going to have to find out how many pounds of pellets, how many pounds of crickets, and how many waxworms using this information. Okay, go ahead, go down to the bottom. The zoo is having 3 different food supply companies make bids to provide the miscellaneous food and the worms. Add the 2 totals to find their total bid for providing food. Okay, so we have 3 different companies. This is Big Cats Animal Supply. This is It's Zoo Supply Company. And this is Lions and Tigers Supply. Okay, and you can see they offer the same items, the earthworms, mealworms, waxworms, hay, biscuits, pellets, mice, and crickets. And it tells you how much it is. Okay, so for example, the hay at Big Cats, you see here, $3,220. The hay at It's a Zoo costs $3,546, and the hay from Lions and Tigers Supply costs $3,190. Okay. Now that you know how much each company costs in total, you're going to make the zoo an even better deal. Highlight the lowest price for each item between the 3 suppliers. For example, the lowest price for hay is $3,190, and we know that because when we compare these 3 companies, this one is the smallest number, the lowest price, right? So then you're going to go ahead and in Kami, you're going to use your highlight tool, and you're going to highlight that. So whichever one is the cheapest. Okay, then you're going to use that information to create this chart down at the bottom. So all of the items are listed. Let's take example, the hay. The store name where it's the cheapest is here, Lions and Tigers Supply. That's what you're going to type in this text box. And the cost is $3,190. Okay, then you're going to get a total cost here. You don't have a total store name, that doesn't make sense. So it's not written here, but the total cost is here. Okay, and maybe a little extra credit if you like. Which store has the cheapest food for the animals? If you were the zoo owner, which of these stores would you use to supply your food? Okay. All right. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video there. And this is for Food for All parts 1 and 2.